If you're a parent, you've probably been there. Your child is up all night. The next day, they drag themselves to the kitchen table. You're faced with a choice. How sick is too sick for school? Dr. Chris Harrison is a pediatrician at Children's Mercy Hospital, here to help us answer that question. Welcome to the show, Dr. Harrison.
Well, thank you for having me.
Now, there are three things that are pretty obvious when you should probably keep your kids home from school. The first one, fever. What's that fever? What's that mark?
100.4 is kind of a hard stop. If that's happened in the last 24 hours, that child shouldn't be in school. Probably contagious, and that's really one of the key elements. Is your child going to function at school, number one? Number two, is it going to be contagious, or are you going to spread something to somebody else?
And 104 is usually when you take them to the
100.4.
100.4, okay.
That's a big distinction.
Okay.
104, yes. Whoa.
Yeah, you need to be at the hospital.
That's right. Okay.
We're driving to the doctor at that point.
Yeah.
Okay. The other two, vomiting and diarrhea.
Vomiting more than twice a day that you don't have a good reason for. They didn't overindulge in the milkshakes or something like that. And if the diarrhea has mucus or blood in it especially, that's a reason to see your provider and make sure there's not something else going on.
How long should you wait after those symptoms before sending your kid back to school?
You want about a 24-hour period to allow the contagion to wear down. And the other thing is if a younger child is in diapers, then diarrhea is more likely to be a problem than an older kid who can go to the bathroom and put things where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly. Now, ultimately, the best test, though, is
if you see your child, you know what's going on. If your child was healthy, would you like your child to spend a day with this child? If it doesn't pass the share test, then don't go to school.
That's a really good rule of thumb. Okay, now what are the common illnesses this time of year? What are you seeing at your practice? This
is usually a croup season, although croup's a little bit late this year. We're still seeing some vomiting and diarrhea. I think a lot of parents are seeing that out there. We've had whooping cough in the community through the summer. It's still out there, so that's a thing to keep an eye on. We've also seen some pink eyes start coming in as well.
And for those conditions, they're all go visit your doctor?
Probably the vomiting and diarrhea, give it a day. Sometimes it'll pass on its own. You don't need to go see the doctor, but if you think the kid's got whooping cough, pink eye, those are things that go in. Pink eye, you need to be on medicines for a day before you go back.
And they're so contagious.
That's the key element. You don't want to be spreading things you shouldn't have to. It's a lot of pressure, when you got to work, and what do? Do you tank them up with Tylenol and hope nobody notices the fever? That's not what we want to do.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay, right. Let's have some tips on just staying healthy for how our kids can not spread the germs to the kids at school or get germs from other kids. Washing your hands. Right. What are some other great tips?
Well, the washing hands thing is also ABCs. Do the ABC song. That's long enough. That's 20 seconds. You want to do that. You also want to stay distant from people you know are coughing. And if you're coughing, the cough etiquette kind of thing is good.
Cough into your inner elbow.
Into the inner elbow. Yeah. And the other things that you want to do is at home, get good rest. Have a balanced diet. Try to have a couple unprocessed foods a day so the immune system is in as good a shape as it can be. You also want to get your vaccines, and this time of year is flu vaccine time, so go in and get that flu vaccine. And if your child is eligible, the drops are actually a little more protective than the shot.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. And are those a two-part vaccination?
If you're under 9, you get 2 the first time you get them. If you've ever had 2, you only get 1 a year.